I wanted to express something I feel very strongly about. That is what to do when you have no right to a jury. If you are charged with a crime, you have no right to a jury, as is the case in Norway now. It's the crowning achievement of feminism, right? They removed your right to a jury so that they can convict more men of so-called rape. That's the direct process which led to the removal of the jury. So now we have no justice system as I see it. We just have pure tyranny. Of course, the proper way to deal with that is to have a civil war and fight for it. But let's say that's not an option right now, which it isn't, because people are apathetic. So what can the individual do? What can you do, I do, if, God forbid, we find ourselves on trial, accused of a crime? What do we say? I mean, how do we plead? And here's my position. You cannot plead either guilty or not guilty because I don't acknowledge the justice system. So then you have to plead neither guilty nor not guilty. That's what I will do if I have to. I don't care if you are guilty or whatever, or not guilty. It doesn't matter. That's not what this is about. It's about protesting the lack of rights to a jury. Then you have to plead nothing. No, refuse to plead. Plead neither guilty nor not guilty, and not no contest either. It's not to be confused with that. You just simply do not plead. And by the way, it is immoral to testify in a Norwegian court because nobody has a right to a fair trial. Okay, let's say they put you on trial. You can't prevent that. The trial will happen. They'll probably not care about your plea when you refuse to plea, right? So what happens when it comes time to testify for yourself? If they ask you to explain yourself, what do you do then? Then I would say, assuming I want to say something that would help my case, I would say I'm not addressing the court, but I will address the media and audience. And then I would speak to the media and audience in court and say what I wanted to say. That is not addressing the court, which doesn't deserve anything, right? Okay, so then they will have the normal trial, and what your lawyer does can be up to him if you have one. Maybe you just feel that it's too much respect for the court to have a lawyer, so you simply refuse to have one. I don't know. Or you refuse to speak to one. I don't know how they would react to that. Would they forcibly appoint one for you? And I don't really know exactly, but that's beside the point. The point is how you protest, right? So what I'm saying here, it isn't gonna affect the outcome of the trial all that much, since they don't really care about your plea anyway. But it's a way to undermine their system, to show moral disrespect for it. So I would recommend everybody accused of a crime of refusing to plead. It's not like in the American system where pleading is incredibly serious, because that's how they coerce consent out of you to punish you, because it's mostly based on plea bargaining, which is completely immoral. So another travesty: you have a right to a jury, but you don't exercise it because they coerce you to use this other method in 95% of the cases or something. So yeah, losing the jury is not the only thing that can go wrong. But something has gone horribly, horribly wrong in Norway too. And it is feminism that achieved this. Now we have no justice system. We have tyranny. And if I were really idealistic, I would protest in a much, much more, shall we say, self-destructive way. But I am merely a non-violent activist now. So I'm just giving this incitement to not plead either guilty or not guilty, right? I think that's something we can say without getting prosecuted right now. It's probably something I won't even be censored for saying, so I dare say this. I recommend not pleading guilty and not pleading not guilty if you are accused of a crime. I feel very strongly about this, and I don't understand how other people can act as if nothing happened, as if this is normal, that we can live like this. They don't care that they lost the justice system. It's not grounded in the people anymore. It's tyranny. The people are still theoretically the majority of the judges, but they have to justify their verdict. And when you have to justify your verdict, you can't nullify so easily, because then you would have to come up with a conspiracy that would have to be articulated in a different way. And that's a taller order than simply conspiring, or simply, conspiring to nullify, which is what happened in rape trials before we lost the jury, right? Which is why the feminists kept pushing for this until it happened, which was in 2018. We lost it. We don't have a jury in Norway anymore. We have a so-called hybrid system, which is not a real jury. So the professional judges have more control. They can force the people to enforce the feminist sex laws, or any law that the politicians will want them to enforce. That is a horrible, horrible tragedy. It bothers me constantly. You can say at least we don't have plea bargaining. But if you have that, that is also horrible travesty, of course. But then you can at least refuse and you can demand a jury. Plea bargaining is torture. To torture that consent out of you to punish you, right? It's the modern version of that. It's amazing what kind of travesties people will accept and normalize. It's so bizarre and so jarring that they can accept this. But people will accept anything. It was a miracle we had some principles of justice once. That miracle is over now. We no longer have juries in Norway. And in the United States, they're not really being used, even though they still theoretically have the right. At least we can make this individual protest, this undermining, the moral protest, if we are accused. Don't plead guilty and don't plead not guilty.